Hey everyone, I'm Joanna Rochester, and this is Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower. Speak Up and Empower is an online community of heart-centered people that are focused on creating the world that they envision for themselves. We bring together the experts that share their wisdom and knowledge, their stories, with those that are searching for more, searching to understand themselves, the world, and to become that best version of themselves. As I am Joanna Rochester, once again, the soul alchemist. Alchemy is the practice of transformation. In the old days, we used to transform silver into gold. And as a soul alchemist, I help you transform from who you are now, from your story, into your soul purpose, to step into the power of you, which is unlimited. The only thing that limits us is us, our own story, and a story that's been created throughout our lives by the things that we've heard about ourselves, the stories that we told about ourselves, the things that labels that have been put on us. And so all of these things limit us, but we can move through them and become whatever we want. So I wanted to talk to you today a bit more about awakening, because if you're here, you have probably already become more aware. You started to become more conscious, and you're starting to understand that there's so much more out there in the world. Energetically, spiritually, become that best version of yourself. And sorry, it was freezing there. So anything is possible for you. And that's what I hope to guide you on. So you become more aware. You're started to realize that so much is possible. And hopefully you've also come to realize that the best thing that you can do is look inward instead of looking outward for what you're searching for joy, happiness, peace, better health, abundance of health, wealth, and love, whatever you're searching for. So now that you become more aware and you've recognized that there is so much more out there, the potential is limitless, where do you go from here? And this is a journey that a lot of us are on, right? We become awakened, we become aware, and now how do we step forward? How do we up the bounty? How do we reach that next level? And there's all kinds of little tools that you can play with. There's all kinds of games that you can play. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you can play with it as opposed to seeing this as work, because awareness and consciousness is work, because you're going to dive into seeing all aspects of yourself. And that can really be challenging. Believe me, I know I've gone through that process where some days it's like, oh my God, I just don't want to do this anymore. It's too painful, or it's bringing up too much. And, it's making me aware sometimes of too much. Remember when I realized that I was an empath. I was feeling sick all the time and getting headaches, and I get these pains that I didn't understand what they were. And when I finally realized that I was an empath, then I learned the tools, the way to block myself so I didn't have to feel it. Now, some people don't like to feel it at all and will block it. But for me, because I am a life coach, a homeopath, and nutritionist, I find that that is a great tool for me to be able to help my clients and to help people around me. So I can feel it, but as soon as I feel whatever is going on, I have learned to block it. And I think that's really important on your journey of awareness and self-development, is once you do start to feel, is to know that you don't have to feel the pain. You don't have to feel sick. You don't have to feel on an ongoing basis someone else's emotions, because this can really put you over the edge and make it overwhelming and make it too much. And you may not want to do the work. You may not continue on this journey. So an awareness of the energy around you and the energy that flows through you is really important. And one of the very first things that I'd like you to do is to learn how to get grounded. Because when you're grounded, when you're in the moment, when you're present right now, then you can be aware of what you're being shown and start to ask why you're being shown it. I talk all the time about being that observer in your life. And this is where it's well, it's always really important to be that observer in your life, but in particular, as you step up in your awareness to be that observer so you can understand what you're being shown, then that's really important. And be aware that what you're feeling is not your own. And I think this is one of the things that's really important, because so often we feel stuff, and unless we ask, is this mine? We may start to, think that we're sick all the time. During the last few months, I've had a lot of headaches, and these headaches, if I didn't know any better, I would be going to the doctor to get some drugs to take care of them. Now, of course, as a homeopath and nutrition, I can make a lot of changes, but the energetic headaches, it's because there's all kinds of information, there's all kinds of energy that's flowing, and it's getting stuck because I'm getting caught up in some of my stuff. It's, a lot of what's going on in the universe right now is energy is flowing, and we're being asked to let go of that story. We're being asked to let go of our insecurities and our old story, because once again, our story limits us. So if you have these insecurities and you're allowing them to control you, then you won't be able to move forward. You won't be able to step into your power. Because if you're, very afraid that, you're not good enough or you don't deserve, then you can't. And so this is what's really important, is be able to block and, have that awareness, but also be able to be present, understand what you're being shown, and then be able to say, okay, thank you. I don't need to feel anymore. I don't need to feel whatever you're showing me. I can deal with it knowing what I've been presented with. But if you're grounded and you learn to shield, then you don't have to feel sick especially when it's someone else's energy. And so, how do you get grounded? It can be very simple as just say, I'm grounded 3 times. It can be to get outside, although right now where I live, it's quite cold and snowy. Well, it's not snowing, but it's a beautiful sunny day actually, but there's lots of snow. So you're not going to go outside and put your feet on the grass, but it is, to go outside and get connected with Gaia, with Earth's energy, and allow that energy to flow. And that will really help you on your journey. I would also suggest to you is coming back to your breath. A lot of us breathe very shallow. We breathe into the top part of our lungs. Instead, we should be breathing all the way down into our stomachs, into our bellies, and allowing our abdomens to expand like a Buddha breath or a baby's breath. And if you think of how a baby breathes, it's a very, their belly extends and fills out, unlike most of us, we've been told to suck our guts in, so we don't breathe properly. We don't get that full breath. So if you can come back to doing 5 breaths, it will get you grounded. It'll bring you back into the moment and allow you to observe and to feel and to understand and become more conscious, because you're more aware of what's going on, and being that observer and asking, why am I being shown this? What's happening right now? What emotions am I being presented with? What teachings am I being presented with? So all of these pieces add up. So breath work is really important. And anytime you feel any stress at all, or anytime you feel a deep awareness or an emotion coming up, it is really important to breathe, because a lot of times when we start to become more aware, we may feel the sensations in our body that we don't understand them, and we can be thrown into the fight or flight mode because we don't understand what's going on, and it makes us feel afraid. And especially when you're in those beginning stages of awareness and consciousness, everything that's going on it's a challenge to understand. And so if you can just breathe and get grounded, then you can realize that it's okay. I'm safe. And I don't have to be afraid of anything. This is one of the big things. If you, especially, hopefully you believe in past lives, because it's, I would suggest if you don't believe in past lives, you're going to be a bit challenged to understand completely where you are and where you've come from. And so a lot of times we carry forward karma, or we carry forward pieces from past lives. And when we feel stuff, we may be feeling this energy or this karma from past lives. And if we cannot come to realize that, what's happening right now, what I'm being presented with is not energy from this lifetime, but from past lifetimes, and then it's pretty challenging to deal with. And so this is where, Akashic records, if you don't know what Akashic records are, they are your story of your past, your present, and your potential future lifelines, your potential future paths that you could be taking. So Akashic records are a beautiful way to come to understand yourself better. And I do read Akashic records, and I've had some amazing information come out of Akashic records. So if you're ever interested in doing something like that, that can really help you understand yourself better, understand, what potentials going forward, why I am the way I am, what's happened, why, what's going on with some of my relationships, why are they this way, or why can't I let go of something? So there's so much information in your Akashic records. But coming back to that understanding of how past lives affect you, it's one of the things is that I would strongly encourage that if you do work with someone who does past life regression or Akashic records, to ensure that the information that you're given is information that you actually can do something with. Because it's one thing to hear, okay, in a past lifetime I was killed, lifetime with someone that didn't end well, but then it's learning, what do I do with this information? And my screen keeps freezing all the time, I apologize. But what do I do with this information? How do I let go of that past life? How do I release that information or that blockage that's there that's limiting me? So, work with someone to help you. So often we can do a lot of the work on our own, but so often it's so much easier and faster when you work with someone. I know for years, I tried a couple different practitioners, but it was very slow going because I really didn't know, hadn't been presented with the mentor that was right for me. And so it's taken me, I think, longer because I didn't have it. And, it is the way it is. There's no right or wrong on these journeys. I guess all the things that I've learned myself help me to help other people better. So just a reminder too, and I think this is one of the beautiful things of being on a journey of awakening and awareness, is that when you heal yourself, you also heal past generations, 7 generations past, and you heal the future. So the work that you're doing is not just for you. It's for your mother, your father, your uncles, your aunts, but also for your children and anyone that comes after you. So you heal not only yourself, but others. And so, you're an act of service to others while you're in an act of understanding and healing yourself. So breath work is a great tool. Helps help you get grounded, learning how to get grounded, shielding yourself. There's many ways, different ways to shield. I've talked about in other posts, and there's so many ways there to go into it once you understand energy better. Meditation is also a really great way to become more present and understand yourself better. And there's so many forms of meditation. It doesn't have to be that you just sit there and try and clear your mind. In fact, I find that very challenging. Buddhist monks practice all their lives to meditate, and it is a lifelong practice. So it's a bit arrogant to assume that we're going to jump in and be able to clear our minds and connect to our higher selves, our subconscious. So try guided meditations. I've been doing a great one lately. It's just a 10-minute about releasing blocks, and it's been very effective. So guided meditations, walking meditations, mindfulness, all of these are great tools. Practices such as Reiki, yoga are also great ways to reconnect with yourself, to be present and to be more aware of you and yourself and what you're being presented with. And it helps you to become that observer and to pay attention to everything that you're being shown. Some of the other things that are great is, once again, to start to question, as you're being that observer, is, what is my story? How do I see myself? Do I see myself as very shy? And then we become that shy person. Am I, have I labeled myself as an introvert? And this is not a bad label. I'm certainly an introvert myself. For me, I see introversion as, for me, I get rejuvenated, recharged when I'm by myself. Some people, extroverts, tend to get rejuvenated, recharged when they're in the company of other people. And unfortunately, with the way the world is right now, it's a bit of a challenge, but everyone's so different. And I know that there's many definitions of introversion, introvert and extrovert, but for me, that's the simplest way of describing it. So, spend that time with yourself or connect with other people to get recharged and to start to, come back into yourself and become more aware. And so, and become aware of your blocks, because these blocks are truly limiting you. One of my greatest ones for many years was a lack of self-confidence. I didn't feel I deserved for a whole bunch of reasons. But, moving through this and becoming aware of what inner child is stuck there. There's so many pieces here that can prevent you from being that best version of yourself and moving up to that next level and to, starting to dive more into who you are, accepting your shadow self, those pieces of you that you don't like. And your soul purpose, starting to become more aware of what your soul purpose is. And this is a challenge, right? Because what do you, I used to see things all the time that, like find your soul purpose. And it's like, oh, how do you do that? It's a journey. But it's letting go of the story. So you can feel you'll know when you're in alignment, when things fall into place, when you're not getting caught up in the ups and downs, when you're moving towards something and it feels good and it's easy. This feeling that seems to, this need in society to be busy, right, is that limits us, because that's an old way of thinking. And that old way of thinking says that we have to be busy to be successful. And, that's just not true. We need to work smart. And it's working on, you're manifesting. What do you want from life? And it's not so much material things, although, they're important too, but it is, what emotions do you want to feel at the end of the day? Ideally, you want to feel joy, happiness, a feeling of fulfillment, success, health. When we focus on those emotions and feel how deeply, or feel them as deeply as possible, and then do something every day, and one small step, whether it's just getting up in the morning and reading something or meditating or breathing, all of these things show the universe, okay, you set your goal of what you want, and then I'm doing something every day towards achieving it. And it can be so much more than that. Some days it's going to be a lot. Other days it may just be that you get up out of bed and take your pajamas off or whatever it is. But it is, manifest. Feel the emotions and truly feel them. Spend like 5-10 minutes daydreaming about the emotions that you want to feel, and then doing something every day towards achieving that. And that manifesting, or those daydreaming, that dreaming about those emotions, set it into your subconscious, and your subconscious takes you where you need to go. And one step every day shows the universe, I want this, and you will make it there. As long as you can believe it. If you are setting your intentions, and this is a challenge. So if you're setting your intentions on something physical or something physical, then it's going to be a challenge if you don't believe it's possible. So if you want to lose weight and say, I want to be 50 pounds less, and that's what you're focused on. And if in the back of your mind, you're saying, oh, there's no way I can lose that much weight or keep it off, then you won't. So that's where if you focus on the emotions, with weight, rather than focus on the weight loss, you want to focus instead on how much energy I want to be able to go for walks with my partner, or I want to be able to ride my bike for an hour and feel good afterwards, or I want to have the energy to play with my kids as much as I do. So it's not so much about the definite goal, but it is a goal of feeling that good and feeling the energy and feeling that you can achieve whatever you want. So it is, there's so many pieces here that I'm kind of mixing and mingling, but it is, I'm saying what someone needs to hear. And I think that's kind of the beauty of opening yourself up, because before I started this, I just opened myself up to the universe and said, here's the topic that I think we should talk about, and just, guide me on what needs to be said. And I think we can all do that the more we come to trust ourselves, and the more we are in the flow, and the more we can allow ourselves to know that what we say is being heard by one person. And that's all it needs to be. You can have 1 million people watching, but if no one gets anything out of it, then that's okay. Whereas you can have 5 people watching and one person goes, then I've done, or the universe has done what it meant to do today. So that's a beautiful thing. So get into that flow of understanding your soul purpose. So often it's just setting your intent that you want to understand yourself better, that you want to let go of your blocks, that you want to understand what your soul purpose is. All of these things will start to add up and start to create the world that you envision for yourself. So just to come back once again, play, right? Play when you're out for a walk, out for a drive, what's the next person I'm going to see, what clothes they're going to have on? Are they going to be with a dog, or they're not? Am I supposed to go right, or am I supposed to go left? And just listen afterwards and allow the universe to show you and follow through. And the more you do this, the more you will ask guidance you receive, then the more you can trust, and the more you'll be given. And the universe is just waiting for you to say, okay, show me the way. And the more you do that and accept what you're shown, the more you will be given. It's, that law of attraction. And so you play with it more, accept it, play these little games with yourself, or find someone to play with, not someone to play with, but you know what I mean, someone who can be your accountability partner. So you do different games with them, and, at 4 o'clock every day, write down what you think they're thinking about, or think yourself, right? And anyways, there's so many different ways to play around with it. But also, ask for guidance, set that intent that I want to become more aware, that I want to dive in and understand myself better, and to become that best version of yourself. And, this is part of what I do. I channel your guides. I channel other angelic realms and guidance from other intergalactic beings to provide you with the guidance that you need to become that best version of yourself, to tap into who you truly are. There's always messages of, it's not telling you what to do. The messages are always pieces of information that will help you. And so often it's also a validation that you're feeling something, and then the guides come in and say, wow, this is what's going on. And you go, that makes so much sense. And also understanding what those physical symptoms are, the mental emotions that you're feeling, or the emotions that you're feeling, all of these pieces. And that's where the channeling and the guidance. And, I also offer programs over 9 weeks that will help you release the physical issues, but also move forward and to deal with the mental and emotional, so that you can step in and understand and become that best version of yourself. I do have courses, workshops coming up starting in February, in March, that will help you understand more about energy. One of my colleagues is Kimberly Del Putra. She is a medium, but she also does a lot of teaching and helping people understand energy and grounding and shielding and becoming more aware in the shadow stuff. So we've got those courses coming up, and all of these are pieces just to help you move through your journey on in awareness and in joy and happiness, and that wonderful joy that's experienced when you become more aware of yourself and become more open and more in the flow. So I'm Joanna Rochester. This is Real Talk Soul Alchemy. I'm on every Thursday at 12:30. Eastern Standard Time, and join me again. If you have any questions, any information that you'd like, just reach out on Real Talk Soul Alchemy or Soul Alchemist, Joanna Rochester Soul Alchemist, my YouTube channel, or my website is below, soulalchemisthealing.com. So reach out, ask for help, anything you'd like to learn more about. I'm always open. And I'm also looking for guests for my show. So this has been Real Talk Soul Alchemy on Speak Up and Empower, an online heart-centered community of people that want to share their wisdom and knowledge so that others can grow and become more aware and learn how to let go of their story and become their true you. We have conversations that change the way you think. So once again, I'm Joanna Rochester, Soul Alchemist. My email address is joanna@joannarochester.com. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.